Right, so we are going over a pro game with two Chinese players today. I can also finally get my headphones off my head, which I am tremendously grateful for. Oh my god, my ears, you have no idea. Small story. My headphones, I had to replace them last week because one of the ears decided to go off and die on me. Unfortunately, they do not make the model of headphone that I became accustomed to. Quite sad, quite sad. Had to venture off and find something new. Unfortunately, they seem to be trying to make my ears bleed, so that's a bit unfortunate. I will have to be replacing them yet again. When you record as much crap as I do, you have headphones on your head a lot. Having uncomfortable headphones, that's just not acceptable. Not by any means. But alright, going over a pro game today between two Chinese players. If you recognize either, well, I think you could probably only recognize one of the Chinese players. You're probably recognizing White, because he's someone who usually falls onto our radar every once in a while. Not, the best player in China, of course, but you probably checked out a couple of his games, or maybe you've checked out a couple of the games I've gone over of his. And he does play some really good games from time to time, and this is no exception. Best player in China right now. I don't really want to say until I see a few more from the Jibango series. So I can't really answer that question just yet. I would like the best player to be Kaji, because I am a fan. But sadly, not quite yet. Will happen one day, but not quite yet. Alright, so we're going over this game. Focusing, of course, on the White player, because I've never seen Black before. So no secret as to that. Not seeing anything really unusual. The approach here is really interesting. When we take our corner, we have like this nice sense of security. I've taken 2 corners, my opponent's taken 2 corners. Everything's pretty much on the level. Nice, balanced game so far. On the other hand, when we do something different, when we decide to take an approach rather than our corner, we've made a very interesting statement. We said that our opponent can, and almost always does, take the open corner. Now they have 3 potential corners at their disposal. We only have the one and an approach. So we have to be quite aggressive here to make up for the fact that we've given 3 of the corners away on the board. If just once we respond when we don't have to, lose Sente just that one time, it's really, really easy to fall behind territorially because your opponent does have those 3 corners. So it puts a little bit of pressure on you not to screw up, because you will notice it really, really quickly, and then your opponent can just like sit back and be like, I've got the territory now, what are you going to do? Alright, so one thing we're going to do is approach both corners, because we have to be very, very aggressive. Wouldn't make sense to just be like, hey, I can do this now, and build up the top of the board. That used to be me back when I was a Q. I thought that was good because I was bad. It's like, no, I'm only developing in one area. It's really invadable. I'm gonna lose the game now. So I don't usually see that ever. So alright, approaching on both corners. We have options now as Black. We can pincer. Pincering's good. We can pincer either of the stones that have approached us. We could back off. All of these are completely acceptable. FC says Q15. What is Q15? Ah, diagonal. However, Black is apparently a little bit more of an aggressive player than I would have given him credit for. he decides to approach. He wants to make the game even more complicated than it has to be. It's like, I've got the territory. It's up to white to really start doing something on this board. Let's help him out by making it more complicated. Bold strategy, very bold strategy. Obviously very confident in his ability to attack. Now white e3. E3. Oh god, having every single corner approached. It'd be impossible to predict exactly how that's going to happen. I mean, you could just play that and go out for a coffee or something while you wait for your opponent to decide what to do, because there's no way to know what that's going to be. But no, we don't. We have a pincer on top of the board. It's like, alright, gonna start using my stones together. I've got the pincer, got the approach. Make it hard for you to really split those stones up. Black's obviously not going to jump out. We never, ever, 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 almost ever see a jump out, because it's really not a very good Joseki. If you jump out, you're probably trying to lean on the pincering stone. And if you're leaning on the pincering stone, it's because you're trying to give away a lot of territory for influence that you're not sure how to use yet. That not sure how to use yet part is really, really important, because when you're giving away solid points like that for the dim hope that you can do something with the influence later, well, maybe you can't. And if you can't, then you just gave away free territory for no reason at all. So we don't really see it very often. Instead, changes of directions, going into the 3-3, all that good stuff, much more common. Common Joseki. Just gonna go and slide right back in there into that corner. However, Sente has been gotten rid of. On the bright side, we now have potentially 4 of the corners. So this tells us maybe white might want to consider doing something influence-oriented, given that the corners are no longer something he can claim for himself. But still, playing something slow, like just the leaning here, kind of not good. What? Why can't white play at c17 instead? Oh, you want that variation? This one? You want to do this? I don't think anybody likes this Joseki. So much to worry about. Yeah, you could d14. I mean, you're just trying to trade. You're just trying to build up more and more influence and give more territory away. I don't like this Joseki at all. I are not a fan. I mean, there's so much Aji here, and you have to protect even more. So yeah, that's just trying to be greedy playing at c17. You have to have a really good reason to play that. This, much easier. I mean, we know where our follow-ups are. As white, we can probably play here, perhaps. Put some pressure on the corner, maybe, if we want to. Can extend fairly easily to take off some of the Aji lingering in our position. Here, we don't really know what we're getting yet. That stone has to be dealt with. That cut has to be dealt with. So many problems. Alright, so white plays aggressively, putting his maximum amount of pressure on black as he can. Black comes out, clearly. We're not going to just try to do something crazy like settle here, because then all the influence is going to our opponent. We're completely surrounded when there's no reason to be, and then we're going to be very, very unhappy. So right, coming out, makes perfect sense. Getting shoulder on our stone, gonna respond. Do not want to ignore shoulder it on our stones unless we can avoid it. Making sure we're nice and out. Unfortunately with this little stone at N17 ensures that it's really, really tough to do much against P17 unless you want to try to push and cut and just try to kill one particular stone. On the bright side, black uses this opportunity to keep white nice and low. Like, alright, you're second and third line territory there. I can run this and have this be just third line territory here. You're nice and flat. So the chances of you being able to go and win with all of that influence that we mentioned, getting a little bit more difficult to actually do. If you're on the third and second line, you're not making influence. Pretty simple. So we're going to gleefully keep pushing along, because we've just pushed him down into nothingness. Now we have the influence, we have a group that's too close to us. So of course, what are we going to do? We're going to pincer it. Absolutely, would not want to play elsewhere right now. That would give our opponent a chance to really come back and hurt us. No. Indeed, mo boy, kill all the things is always an acceptable answer. If you don't know what to do in your games, just try to kill something. And never can you go wrong. Q11. I expected Q11 as well. Q11 is really, really common to see because it's taking away a T-space extension, making sure that white can't get that for himself. Black decides to play Q9 though, actually. No, I think it's a fine move. He's trying to put pressure on both at once, rather than committing to one in particular. I guess he was worried that if this was taken, maybe his opponent would just, I don't know, try to get rid of it? Hard to know what he thought here. But he's clearly not worried about his opponent trying to struggle with this, which he's going to do immediately because the T-space extension is still available. So now black has to figure out what is he going to do. And I both like and dislike his next move. I mean, the opening was kind of interesting. We saw a lot of a pressure tried to be applied to white immediately when his opening was revealed. But Q9 kind of seems like a little bit not really as severe. And the follow-up, the diagonal, kind of also doesn't feel all that severe. So it's interesting to see where he plans on taking this game. Clearly he's considering the left and bottom sides of the board more than the right side. Guess he figures with white already having a position there, chances are not really going to have much development, so we might as well plan for that accordingly. Can understand that. Of course, that does mean that white can come out. So, alright. It's gonna come out. Keep separated. Don't get surrounded. Keep unsettled. Now, this is a move I would have responded to almost immediately. Like, oh, okay, he kicked me. Sure, I don't want to ignore that, otherwise my shape's going to be in trouble. So, yeah, I gotta play a move at Q5. But you always want to see if you can strengthen yourself in Sente before you respond. Are there any ways on this board that you would try to strengthen any of your groups in Sente? Anything at all. If there was a group on this board we wanted to strengthen, whatever it could be. P15... P10. B15 kind of looks like we're trying to hurt ourselves. Oh, wait, no. Okay, you want to... I don't know, that leaves a cut point. So we can do that, and then P10... You're on the right track. I don't like your moves, though. R8 seems passive. R8, knowing that's there is good enough. That is good enough. Instead, we're going to poke at 2 cut points at once. Yep. Very direct peep. Our opponent is going to want to respond to it immediately, which he does. And the wonderful thing about this is usually we don't want to do like peeps for Sente because obviously they're going to respond, and most of the time they're going to respond in such a way that our stones are getting hurt. So, okay, we got the move, but our stone got damaged. This was for Sente, so we can't respond to it. Though here, it's really cool because playing away is actually okay still. We still have that cutting point here, right? So our opponent is going to respond to our defending ourselves as well, which we see here. Okay, no, we don't. Sorry, got ahead of myself. We were going to see it in a minute, alright? I'm just reading the future. I knew it would be played. I just wasn't sure when. Alright. So, yeah. See, like I said, it was going to be played. And again, wonderful thing about this is there are still those 2 cutting points, right? If white plays at key 16, they're trying to cut 2 different places. So black's not very happy just yet. So he throws in. Okay. Threatens to capture. Alrighty then. Still not out of the woods. Has to go back and still defend. But at this point, white is happy to keep responding because is black alive locally? No, of course not. There's like no eyes that he can make right. Well, okay, maybe one in the corner. But other than that, there's really no eyes he can make with this group. It's such a huge, huge burden. So he has to come out. Like, alright, I'm gone. But since that group's now in trouble, and since that group's now defending itself, which group isn't defending itself? This one. This one's not being defended. So we've got that lovely thing in Go that we always try to strive for. We always try to reach deep down within ourselves and count to the number 2. It can be difficult sometimes. Takes a lot of practice. But once you can count to 2, you're doing pretty well in Go. And here we can see there are 2 weak groups on the board, so of course we're going to split them, of course we're going to put pressure on them. Yes, it is a Dawn level ability. Many people do not fully appreciate the power of 2. So alright. I don't know, 3 I think probably involves like 3-dimensional Go. We're not playing 3-dimensional Go, so we don't have to count to 3, all we need is 2. If you are playing 3D Go, then you probably do need to count to 3. But until then, you're good at 2. You can tone it down a bit there, mo boy. But alright, so we're splitting. Black's got groups that he's worried about. Tries to change the narrative of this particular story. He wants white worried about his stones. He doesn't want to be worried about his own. So, with this move, he says, you have no base, you must protect yourself. And white says, forget that, you're in trouble. Defend yourself. And he has to. Where's his eyes? His eyes are non-existing. So he has to defend himself. White gets to keep poking. So we need to try to get eye shape. Unfortunately, one of the reasons why I do like this particular player is because he is rather known to be a bit of an aggressive player. So once he's, got someone sent, he's not going to let you go until you're safe somewhere else. He will keep chasing you. As we see here, this group is being completely isolated on top of the board. All of its connections to all of its friends have been removed. It has to live as is or keep running away. White responds. Or black responds. White says, I'm going to cut through you. Black finally has to go back and play the move that he tried repeatedly not to have to play, but he does. And now he's in a pretty good spot. I mean, there's no kind of weird cut points you have to worry about here because that stone's an Atari, so there's nothing there at all. If we push and cut, we can see that's not really going anywhere again because that one defensive move, we can just take it whenever we want to. That P14 stone gives us so much extra strength. Yes, it took white 8 extra moves to play that move. Yeah. So alright. We are now threatening to undercut. We are ensuring black is nicely separated, and those 2 stones are looking very, very bad right now. So how is black going to get out of this? Oh my god, Mo boy. I cannot believe you said that. I cannot believe you said that. Have you seen this game before? Ah, okay. I didn't know if that was just pure coincidence that you said that. But yeah, essentially, right now, black has one goal in life, and that's not to be killed. Because that thing in the beginning of the game that we mentioned, that, obviously black has the corner, so white's gonna probably have to rely on attacking or maybe doing something in the center, given that, even the 4th corner disappeared. Well, he's got that. He's got the influence. He's got an attack. So all black wants to do right now is just not get killed. So he pulls out all of the vulgar moves in an effort to not get killed. It's like, I don't care what this does to you, or my corner, or anything. All I want to do is not die. That's my goal. Hurt my corner as much as you want. I just want to be fine here. Play anything and everything, as long as we're not gonna die. But corner does get hurt as a result. It's like, alright, that's potentially a really, really bad go. We're not gonna play that. We're just gonna live. White says, yeah, I'm just gonna live too, because I don't want you attacking me anymore. Now we have a little bit of a fight. Just a little bit of one. Well, let's see. The alternative, of course, was white just connecting. I was looking at the tree as if I already hadn't destroyed it. So yeah, the alternative here was just to connect, which does 2 things. One, well, okay, I guess you could play elsewhere. Let's see, this, not that, and play elsewhere for white. So we could play here again, I suppose. Okay, yeah, could do that. But then this works, right? No. Well, I knew the answer to this a minute ago. Yeah. Works as in you can play it for a minute and then not never again. R8, you say? I can see what you're aiming for. That would work, because now you're connected, I suppose. Yeah, it seems like it works. Yeah. Alright. Is this the right? Yeah, take and then approach. Alright, good. Black continues to poke. We go after this. Wait a minute, what? Oh, okay, good. Never mind. Thought I ruined the tree for a minute there again. But no, we're fine. False alarm. White backs off. And at this point, I want to reiterate what we have mentioned so far about this opening. This opening can be very, very complicated. Can be very, very much pain in the butt for the white player who's, for reasons that are clear, we've given up corners. We chose to be aggressive immediately. We even lost our other corner as a result. What it amounts to is we have to apply pressure, keep applying pressure. One slow move, they live in our area, and then our entire opening is destroyed. So it can be very, very difficult to handle this. And right now, it looks like it's difficult to handle this, because we're seeing that the corner is fine for black. The upper left corner is fine for black. Don't know what's happening to the lower left yet. Victory in the upper right, because that has been shrunk to nothing. We don't see that corner and feel envious in any way, shape, or form. But we are not going to abandon our original idea. That we have something to attack and we want to be aggressive. So white leans. And chases. Or pushes, or whatever. And continues. Black takes all the territory for himself. White gladly gives it up. Possible having a problem here. Just a little bit of a possible problem that black seems to have sente to reduce. So is this strategy actually panning out for white, or is it not? That is the question. Because this is threatening to link underneath. I mean, we can push and cut or whatever, but there's a threat there to link under, so white blocks that threat. It's like, okay, you can't connect under. Now the small knight's a threat, so we strengthen that up a bit. It looks like black's getting shape, but white applies pressure. Nope, can't do it too soon. Cannot play that move too soon. I like that you know that it's there. I like how black is making cutting points with a group with one eye. He is making a few. If it makes you feel better, he's making cutting points with a group with one eye, and he's playing away from the attack. Because he's got corner points to worry about. White pokes. He's not being greedy. Black threatens. Threatens again. Trying to get that other eye for himself. and then attempts a counterattack. So he's clearly of the opinion that he's perfectly fine. I mean, he has one goal. One mission in life is to not get horribly killed in the center. It's the only thing you have to do. And you've identified that right from the very beginning of the game. That's all we gotta do. Just don't die. Okay. Operation Not Dying is going to commence with a counterattack. White has to respond. As has been mentioned, E4 exists. So we go after that for a very, very large capture if we can work that. Which one? This one? Yeah, there we go. Doot. Got a bit of a counterattack going. Attempting to get all the territories for ourselves. Big co, though. Big co. Really big co. However, now is not the time, and trust me, I'm really good at this, I lose them all. Now is not the time to invite a co. Especially when, as has been pointed out in the chat, you still have an 8 on the board. So you're still not quite alive. So White says, alright, now what are you going to do? Black says, that's fine, I'm just going to capture your stone. White says, no, you are not. I'm keeping this false. Black takes. Don't want our stone driven around, so protect it. The cut point's still there, which has now been defended. So it seems like all is well in the world. There's a bit of a counterattack. Was scary for a couple of moves, but it looks okay. It looks okay for now. The middle is getting a little bit large. You are correct about that. There's still that cutting point at MM7. We can make it work, not by cutting directly, for those of you who thought that was a serious suggestion, not a move. But the Aji is there. White pokes. Black says, I live. White says, prove it. Look right there. Got myself an eye in the corner. We're fine. And as mentioned, there is that ko. Now is not the time to have a ko on the board when you yourself are not alive. And that's why. There's a million ko threats right now. We're not alive as is. We have to play a lot in order to try to connect up. So there's a veritable co-factory here. Black does the only thing that makes sense when faced with a co-factory. Take the co and live with the consequences. Consequence right here. We've been disconnected. Tries to do something. White says, no, that is so not happening. This has been killed. Get out of my game. Goes to another eye shape. White continues to surround. And continues to surround. Not playing anything weird, not losing his cool, like, oh my god, I gotta play this immediately, or we're all gonna die. Nothing crazy. Where are the eyes coming from? Right now, it's threatening A and B. Can't get both in Sente, so why would we care what he's doing? Just gonna remain nice and strong. Try to see if maybe you can get one of them in Sente if we take advantage of the Liberty shortages here. But White is not gonna so much as play a Hane. No Aji for anything. No idea what that is, really. Maybe an attempt to... No, I just don't know. I do know that after White's move, Black resigns. because that is one dead center. Which is crazy that that actually happens in games like these. It's absolutely nuts that that happens, because in the very beginning of the game, there was no secret of what was going on. Black took the corners. He had 3 of them. The 4th was even given up. So what do you have to do? You have to not get horribly killed in the middle. You knew that from the very beginning, but he still died in the center. Yeah, it could be a prep move for resignation. That's true. That's true. Q9 losing move? What was Q9? I'm bad with coordinates. I don't think Q9 was a losing move, but it was a bit soft, I feel. It was a bit soft. Definitely got into a position that you didn't want to be in. Because then all of this lovely stuff happened. And that got too much. White got way too strong from that. But yeah, fun game. Very fun game. And straightforward, too. I mean, if you want to, play this particular style as white in your own games, or if you're playing against it, you should have a pretty good idea of what your goals are. You can try to avoid the same pitfalls that Black found himself in. Now, I do want to point out that it is 20 minutes until end of lecture, and this time I've come prepared. I have another game that I wanted to look at. So I'm going to look that up. Let's see. So I'll close this and I'll open the board. We are also looking at white this time. This time it is this guy versus that guy, as is often the case. See, are you 9 Dan? You are 9 Dan. Yeah, good job. Good job, 9 Dan. Good job. We are going over one of Kang Ji's games. Because I absolutely fell in love with Kang Ji a long time ago when I found out that he was known way back in the day for having one move, at least one move per game that looked like it was straight out of an amateur game. He just made one huge blunder every game as a pro. So that was really encouraging. It's like, I don't have to play perfectly. Not even pros do. It's amazing. So alright, this game we are not... Oh, no, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. Oh god. No, 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 no. Oh god. Alright, so we're starting off with a 3-4 point. That's amazing. There's no... I can't... Why even still give lectures? I can't top that, ever. How can I do worse than missing up the first move? I don't know. I'll have to find something. That one's gonna be tough. That one's gonna be tough. But alright. Opening up with dual 3-4 points. Let's get this one right. Oh, yes. I could forget which game I'm going over. That's true. It's a good idea. That's a good idea. This is a little bit more, a bit more standard. We have an approach. Could have played orthodox enclosures, that kind of deal. Could have gone super aggressive and modern and just played like a variation of a micro Chinese here and just smack down C12. We see that occasionally. But no, something simple. A little bit less simple. We do see the approach again. Can you make a Chinese variation? Whoa, what do you mean? Oh, yeah, you could. If, one way you can do it is if they decide to take territory for themselves. You could always do the old school variation. We don't play it very much because it was pretty much dismantled harshly. You could also just play it directly. You could just be like, Boom, Chinese, what do you do now? I mean, I've seen it happen before. Only surefire way to stop a Chinese variation is to actually approach the 3-4 stone and make sure it cannot be done. Alright, so what do we got here? Right, the approach, a little bit aggressive style, but Black's like, you know what, I'm not getting into those shenanigans. We're playing a nice, simple game, I'm following up my move. White says, no, we aren't. We are playing a complicated game. I'm approaching you again. Alright, complicated game. Here we go. What do? We take a corner. Frack, we can't. The corners are all taken. Pincer, I guess. Pincering's about the only thing that we can really do, though the diagonal is suggested. We don't really want to do that. Because if we were to take, let's say, no, not that one. There we go. If we were to play like a diagonal here, it's just going to invite an extension from white, and then we're never going to be able to get like the optimal extension that we really want to do. I mean, it could be playable, but maybe not. Instead, Black says, forget all that garbage. I'm pincering. I've attacked your corner, and now I'm extending from it. What are you going to do? White changes directions to aid top of the board, similar to what we saw last game. This shouldn't be all that uncommon for you guys now. You're all familiar with this particular idea. Black says, I'm Captain Greed. I'm going to take the 6th line for myself all the way down the board, if you do not mind. White says, go for it. But Black wusses out and decides to attack. Keep him out of the corner so he can't settle. Doesn't do the more brazen move of extending or being super greedy. No. He's gonna play a little bit more reasonably. Unfortunately, it means that the Hane exists. The initial stone dies, but, you know, the Hane exists. So, pretty straightforward so far. Exactly, we can get 12th line, man. That'd be great. So, alright. Sente for white, because we're not going to Atari this stone. Yeah? Nobody had that thought in their head, I'm sure. So white says, I'm going to use a stone that helps both my 4-4 stone as well as my approaching stone. And I'm going to change directions again. That way there are things that I can do. We're kind of doing two things at once with our stones. And that's the number that we need to go to. We need to go to number 2. Oh, forget the Taisha. No, really, forget the Taisha. If you've studied it, just, I don't know, drink until you forget it. You'll probably be better off. Alright, so diagonals played. Gonna try to keep these nice and separated. Not gonna go and just be like, I'm gonna go for the corner now. That gives too much to your opponent. You don't really want to do that. Keep separated, because you know about the number 2. White defends. Now it's Black's job to figure out how to deal with this. Going to the corners is only hope. And then settling. Now, the upside of this is that we are still out. We are still out unless white wants to run us on the 4th line, in which case we'll be happy or just take Sente. For the moment, let's look at this game. This game seems, judging from what I'm noticing in the upper right-hand corner, the lower left-hand corner, the upper left-hand corner, this is a territorial game. Would you mostly agree with that, you think? Mostly a territorial game from Black? Monday says no. Well, I assure you, so far it's mostly territorial. White goes back and says I'm going to try to salvage my corner. Now this is unusual. You ask the questions, which means it'll change. Yeah, I do that a lot, don't I? This is unusual. We usually see two-space extension rather than the one. So that's a bit unusual. That's a bit unusual. Black goes in the corner as a result. Ha! More territory. Huh? Huh? Like I said, territorial. Allowing black to get his extension. So, continuing on our nice territorial game, we can see the lower left-hand corner nicely settled. The upper left and upper right corners are nicely settled. That means we can do one of two things. We could look for a weak group to attack. There currently are none. Rip in pieces. We can extend. Yeah, we could play a move like K3, Gote. Or we can do the third thing. But number 3. 3's forbidden. Approaching corner also counts as an attack, so now it's only 2 things, so it's fine. And in that, we do go ahead and approach. We could play O3, but that's just saying, you know what, you get to build up the right-hand side. I'm going to build up the left-hand side, and we're just going to have like a little bit of a frameworky thing going on here, if that's okay with everyone. Instead, I'm going to try to keep it nice and territorial. I'll live on the right-hand side, no frameworky things going on for you. I've got all the corners. Your move. White's move is to back away and get some territory. Not going to pincer and give away that 4th corner because we know bad things happen when that happens. Like, white wins the game. Oddly enough. Black gets the base. I love how patient that move is. No escaping for the corner. No trying to attack Q13. Nice, simple, and basic. So basic. Means black gets to stay on the offensive. Is this really the game I meant to go over? Yeah, it is. Okay, good. Alright, so... Right. Yeah, it is. It is. So here's an interesting thing. Usually when we see this, we usually immediately see S4. Defense of the corner immediately, because that 3-3 is not our friend. But white decides to play a bit aggressive here. How do we know that he can afford to play aggressive here? How do we know these things? This seems like magic and goes against everything that we have ever learned about this corner. How do we know we can get away with it? Because we have that center strength. Indeed. We have quite a few things working for us right now. We've got the middle influence. We can help out. We got the low stones that we can lean on, which, you know, is pretty good too. If there was a very, very strong black center here, we probably wouldn't even dream of getting away with this. It'd just be crushed into oblivion. And I do not mean the cool Elder Scrolls game. So we jump out. Now black is very, very happy to see that white defends, because we get to completely surround him. Seems good to me. White says that's fine, I'm just going to try to live. Black takes a corner. He did count to 2. This I like too. It seems like a bit of a small move, but it did ensure that we're pretty much just a 2-space extension again over on the left-hand side. So it looks like maybe black's trying to count to 2 again. White says, this area is getting dangerous, I'm totally out of here. Which is also doing another thing. Because we can kind of envision another move here, threatening to cut through the large knight, so this is pretty big. This is pretty big for both players. Gotta be careful, can't just play elsewhere and take territory or defend yourself or something. Have to watch out for your shape. Can't be split. So black says, alright, I can't be split. I've defended myself. So now we, I don't know, we have a weird shape on the board. I mean, this is kind of, I don't know. Kind of looks like a hammer. Very, very odd shape. Very, very odd shape. Well, it's kind of hard. Okay, yeah, a flag. A flag works. Big Dipper. Okay. I can see the Big Dipper. I think I go for flag over the Big Dipper, though. But yeah, we can't really cut this very well, can we? Can we play away and try to cut this? You go away. You do that. Now do this. And then go away again. Alright, how do we cut this? See, now I haven't ruined the tree. You can go for this, I guess. Because our goal could be to try to get something like this on in. But the question that would pop through my head is, can we really afford to play that way? I mean, what if we get poked at? What if we don't care if we get poked at here because we can aim at the T-space extension? That would really worry me. The idea that we're about to get cut apart. And of course this one just doesn't work. Maybe when the three looks like it gets stronger, we can try to do some shenanigans. Until then, White tries to lean, because there's no territory there worth caring about. It's just shape, pretty much. And White, you know, can't be allowed to just get everything he wants, so we have to follow him into his own territory. That's usually a really, really good thing to do. Follow your opponent there. Destroy everything that he thought he was going to try to get. Really good idea. Easy reduction. White tries to keep all of the things that he wanted to try to get. And then Black takes territory. So again, really, really, really simple game. Don't really have any groups. One person just kind of taking something, the other person just kind of taking something. White says, okay, we're going to play a nice peaceful game. I'm going to take this area. You're going to take the other area. Okay, that's nicely strengthened. Okay, sure. Playing peaceful, nice game. Truce is being broken. We now have a probe. Gonna connect. Let connect under. Or descend. White chooses a descent. And so Black was on the attack. Maybe he can get in that cut point. White connects. Slowly but surely trying to push through. Maybe we can get that cut point going. White says, stay out of my area. Black says, I'm not going to be denied. White says, yes you are, because I'm going to give up my 3 stones. Oh, didn't see that one coming, did you? Admittedly, I didn't, because the entire board just changed drastically with like 2 moves. It's like, wow, those 3 stones, are they really, were they really given up? Are these, can this really live back in there? Either this was given up for the best thing ever, or this lives. Oh, look at your deduction, mo boy. No, 'cause you said White wins this game. Okay, so if White wins this game, because he lives with those 3 stones, how on earth would you even begin thinking about trying to live? Any ideas for that one attached to stuff? Q14 and Hope Tanuki. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. Alright, I win. No, not I win. Yes, I know. Who was that? Sith. There we go. Sorry. Sith and Moboy both recommend the attachment. Only move playable. Only thing we can do. We have to attach to this stone and see if we can get shape for ourselves. So, alright. Black responds with the Hane. White can't back off because he's trying to not die, so he responds with a similar Hane. Looking pretty severe. Doesn't let his stone go. And now what is black going to do? He's having a slight issue. He's got 2 stones threatening to be killed right now. Both R11 as well as R9. He chooses to Atari. Connect. And Tanuki. I guess offering a trade. I'm gonna do something on one side, you'll do something on the other, I guess is the idea here, maybe. That, and he apparently doesn't see how to kill this anymore. Where would you play after that? I mean, you can't really play anywhere, can you? I mean, you can't save R11. So what else can you possibly do? You can connect, but you will quickly realize that your opponent is not dead. S11 doesn't work. Let's see, I already played that, so we can go back and look at this. Okay. Let's see, what will we be looking at here? Which way do we do this? That. No. Just extend? No, I guess we could turn first. And then, what do we do? And then white has to, or black has to defend these stones, I guess, right? Because if you extend, then that's a problem. So we have to keep these stones from dying. But the trouble with that is, how do you even try? Yeah, and the double Atari, yeah. I mean, that right there is almost alive, as is. Because you can connect. And any attempt to deny that just means that this is going to get severely destroyed, because you're about to get cut through. Too much here. So he says, forget it, I got other plans. The game is still afoot. As soon as I figure out what he plays. What does he play? Ah, yeah, defend the cut point. Then create a cut point. And while he's doing this, white says, forget you. That wasn't a white stone. Black cuts first, then we have a white stone. Offering up yield trades. So alright. That has been traded. We are going to kill the top in exchange for the right living. So here we are, trying to kill the top. And white trying not to have the top killed. But the minute it defends this way, it opens up this. Has to connect. Hope here now is that we can kill off the 3 stones. If so, we have completely broken into white's area. So white reduces us, we reduce him. Very good to go. But white says, I'm not letting those stones die as easy as you think, sir. Black comes on in. White follows. Doesn't want to die too easy. Black has a forcing move. Threatening to ladder off the 2 stones and kill off 019 at the same time. Cannot let that happen, that's for sure. So he extends again. No, he doesn't. Yohanes. My bad. I'm not going to try to save the tree ever again in this game. It's beyond dead. Can't let him take through, can't cut. All we can do is connect back and be happy. Play all of the Atari. And now black has to decide if he's alive. While he's busy defending, he is not protecting his cut points. And if he is not doing that, we get to take. Let's see, how much is more of this game that I want to go over? Oh, right, that happened. Oh, that's a lot of stuff, though. This was not the short game I thought it was. Holy crap. Okay. That's fine, that's fine. And it's also a long co. Oh well, we'll go over that too. That's fine. So, long story short, black has Sente. He decides to put pressure on the center group because that's the only thing that's weak right now, right? We have Sente, we're going to identify the weak groups. If there are any weak groups, we're going to attack the weak groups. If there aren't any weak groups, then we're going to expand or reduce, get into endgame, things like that. No need to do that yet. But white gets to defend very, very easily. Defensive moves while we prepare for an attack. Defensive moves while we don't get cut in half. It's that whole fear of two thing again. We're not living as is on the bottom, so if we get cut, it's not just a simple matter of living with one or the other. We have to live with both, and that doesn't work. So, okay. That made sense. Then move to connect. Whites or black says I'm going to cut you. White responds to go back and live. But black ignores that, interestingly enough. Because I guess he wants to try to attack the group on the left. So pretty good ideas, pretty good ideas. Nicely aggressive play by black. Going after all of the weak points as they show up. Willing to give up a little so he can try to attack somewhere else. And as we can see here, gonna try to attack this now. Can't let it connect out, otherwise we're dead. Unfortunately, the push through is a little bit aggressive. Taking away all them shapes. White has to maximize his base, because he doesn't want to die. But black really, really, really wants to kill him. Now, that was a little bit complicated. We couldn't play here, essentially, for the nice, wonderful, and simple reason that this doesn't really work out too well. We can take, right? We certainly can, but we're only capturing 3 stones at that point, right? We can't connect here, otherwise we're dead. And if we go back and play, what else can we do? Yeah, after that. If we play the Atari, then this isn't really as easy to live with as you might think it is. For the wonderful simple reason that that's not quite an eye just yet. So really, really hard to live there as is right now. So cool read by black. Playing quite aggressively indeed. As a result, it's time to call no joy. Try to get out of here. Black tries to keep this connection. White has no choice but to try to connect. Black sees profit. And good for him. contest every connection that white tries to make for himself. And that certainly looks like a problem. That seems like white's dead. What do you think? Has white just lost the game? How good is your reading skills? What just happened to white? Is white dead? You say no, but why is he not dead? Yes, the move that unfortunately you said he wins. I should not have done that. Yes, C10. I'm glad that everyone gets to recognize it. Didn't work a minute ago, but now it's starting to kill off on something else. It's that wonderful number of 2. People out there don't believe in number 2, and they really should. So okay, have to protect that group, which means we have to take this in safety. No longer weird snapbacks going to happen here, which means that's going to go to a co. If we still want to try to kill white. Now this co I'm going to go through quite quickly, simply because of time. Suffice to say, you can see he's trying to kill with every threat. Multi-step. Find to play. Threatening to kill. Says no. White connects. Pokes. Has to respond. Make certain that's not going to turn into anything. Now here is something interesting. Rather than see about things like Seki or going back for the Ko or whatever, white has a different plan. He says, you know what? I'm going to go for blood. I'm going to try to kill you. Black says, okay, fine, let's throw down. White goes back to Ko. Now there's a lot more threats than there were previously. Threatens to kill again. White gets to take. Black takes. White says, I'm going to kill you. Forces black to deny it. What was this? This is confusing. I don't know. Huh. Doot. Why this exchange? Okay, so the cut existed, and then those 3 stones come back to life. So he was going to do what from there? I'm not certain. Oh, if that stone's dead, then maybe P10 works? Because he has to block, then you get to extend, and there's a potential of cut on both sides. Or you're cut through. Okay. Yeah, okay, that's a lot of... Alright, I see what happens there. Anyway, we respond and go back to Happy Co. Cut at Q6. Q6. Where's Q6? Yeah, that looks like it's a cut. That looks like there's a cut there too, yeah. Let's see, white connects. Black pokes. Don't want to die there, that'd be bad. Threatens to link up. White says no. Maximizing eye shape. Eye space, rather. Reductions. Endgame. Did I miss something? No, I didn't. Alright, good. Grabbing some more for ourselves in the corner. Now that's in trouble. No, not in trouble, but definitely has to respond. Make certain that... Whoa, I almost messed up. I almost messed up big time. Yeah, go there, and then defend. There we go. Like us to connect. Poke at the corner. Seriously, how much longer is this game? I thought it was over after the resolving of the co. I could be wrong. Cuts through, gets a connection. Activates endgame. Seriously, does this like go to counting? Am I on drugs? No, not that. That's bad. I have to play there. There we go. Yeah. Otherwise, we're gonna be in trouble. If we like play the other move, then it activates potential for black to be annoying. Ah, didn't mean to do that. There we go. Black saves stone. We get to connect underneath. Black's maximizing his points. White's getting a free kill. Still poking at endgame. For everybody. Wonders why I'm going over this. Can't quite decide. Sure, there's a reason. Because we want closure. Yeah, I guess that's true. I guess that's true. Threatens to link up. Wow, this is like totally not ending how I thought it was going to. C4 is still the 1,000-year code. Where's C4? C4... What? Oh, that group. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Doot. Ah, block. Pushing through. Going to Atari. Going to connect. And then black resigns. So that's the closure you were looking for, right? Yeah. Sorry, I have no idea why I picked this game. I think I picked it as a potential because I liked the left-hand side and I liked how it started off and the exchange in the right. I don't think I actually meant to go over all of this, but I did. Why did black resign? A couple of reasons. Wait, black did resign, right? Yeah, okay, good. One, white, yeah, we are way over time. White has a lot of territory up on the top of the board, the corners. He has to kill the left-hand side, which obviously he's not going to be able to do. So what choice does he have? He can't kill white stones on the left. No, how do you kill? Well, there's a... Yeah, you'd have to play here and then go back into Co. Because you can't connect this, right? Because there's no way to make an actual killable shape here, right? No matter how you try to put white into Atari. This is just not a killable shape. So what you have to do is take away all of the outside liberties, and then you have to play on the inside while you're fighting this Co. So outside liberties, you have to play there. And then, yeah. Which can only be done after the Co threats are off the board and there's nothing serious remaining on the board, which there are. I mean, if you want to look at even one move that white can play, I mean, that still is a threat, right? What other threats do we have? Yeah, there's quite a few of them. I mean, that's a threat. The chances of black winning this are so small. M19. Yeah, M19 is really the only severe threat. I mean, that one has... That one is large, yeah. And you only have one, though. P12? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You'd have to use that as one of your first threats, though. I mean, you still have the upper left. You still have the upper right as threats. Yeah, I don't, I'd be surprised if that actually did anything. And then there's a further annoyance that black's already behind territorially by quite a bit, right? Because he only has as solid points the upper right hand corner and like these 3 stones in the middle. What is the score exactly? The guesstimator says even if black kills those stones, he's only that white's still up by 0.5, which isn't entirely inaccurate. So yeah, it's just too much. He can't give up anything, and he has to kill off the left-hand side. So yeah, too much. He resigns. Anyway, we've gone slightly over, so I hope you enjoyed both these games.